Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Ari Koinuma and welcome to Ari's Deep Thoughts. This is a series in which I share random deep thoughts and life insights, I call it, that I'm learning in the hope that it might be something that is helpful to you as well. So today is January 1st and obviously it's New Year's resolution time, and goal setting is something that I've thought about a great deal in my life because, well, who doesn't want to achieve things in life, right? But New Year's resolution is something that I don't dislike, but I've struggled with over the years because, like everybody else, I don't stick to them, right? And then I would set myself a goal and I fail and I feel bad about it, and I might go, oh, New Year's resolution really doesn't work, or it's no good, and I don't do that, and I went through all the things. But this year I set myself some intentions for the new year, and I got so excited about them that I could not wait for the holiday season to end and the year to turn so I can get started working on them. And in fact, I started working on them before the year began. So I feel like I'm onto something here. Obviously, no one approach fits everybody, and if whatever you're doing is working for you, more power to you. I'm not here to tell you anything otherwise. I just thought to share 4 different considerations or approaches or philosophy about annual goal setting, resolutions, intention, vision casting, whatever you want to call it, that I've thought about in my life, in the hope that maybe some of them might be useful to you. So the first bit that I want to share with you is the idea of process-oriented goals. And in traditional goal setting, you envision a particular result or outcome, and they say to make it measurable so you have clarity in terms of when you actually achieve the goal, and make it obviously achievable and blah blah blah. And I've done that, and if it works for you, great, don't change a thing. But for me, when I set a particular result or outcome, let's say things like, I want to lose my weight, a certain number of pounds or kilos, or as a YouTuber, I could say, I'm aiming for a certain number of subscribers or views, things like that, right? When I set goals like that, what I noticed about myself is that I would start obviously trying to go after them, and in the process I think about, okay, so what will get me those results? And what will be the proven ways, what will be the reliable ways, what will be the effective and efficient ways to go about getting the results that you want. Notice in that thinking, the focus is on the outcome and less about the path to get there. And I find that I focus less on the experience of getting there. I just want the result. Now, you don't have to be that way, but I just tend to be that way myself. Is I just kind of get fixated on the end point. Now, if you think about it, results, outcomes, milestones, they're just like a point in time, right? And then you spend your time getting there, and you get there, and then obviously you get to enjoy the pride you take in the achievement, and the confidence you build from actually knocking off your goal, and that's great, but it's a fleeting moment, and feelings change after that, and after that you discover a new goal, and then you start going towards that, right? But life is what happens on the way, is what I learned. And you spend more time being on the journey to get there than in the destination. And what about all this time and effort spent being there? when I was going after goals, with whatever sort of means sort of necessary, I would come up with way of doing things that, I again focusing on the efficacy of that particular approach and less about the joy of doing it. And pretty soon, in my mind, the goal becomes another just thing that I have to cross off because, it irritates me and bothers me that I have all this unfinished business. And the way to get there becomes a chore, an activity that I'm just sometimes grudgingly doing because I think it's effective, not because I enjoy. And my life is spent that way, and soon the goal becomes a burden, and I start slipping. And then once I start slipping, I'm like, I'm not getting close to it anyway. Why bother? And there it goes. So I came up with the idea of process-oriented goals because I'm like, well, I should focus more on activities that brings me joy, brings me bliss, and energizes me. And if the result comes or outcome comes, that's like a side effect or added bonus. The reward is in engaging in these activities. And when I think about it that way, it just kind of puts a different focus and different twist to the idea of setting goals. And the difference is that I feel excited about them, right? I'm going to set myself a goal to do these things, at certain frequency. Like, for example, one of the ones that I set for myself is that I want to go swimming twice a week for 40 weeks out of this year in 2023. And I set that goal because swimming is one of my favorite exercises, and if I go too long without doing it, I miss it, and I pay my monthly fee to YWCA, and I don't really, I do use some of the other facilities here and there, but really the main reason I joined it is because I wanted to go swimming. But then there are times when I get busy or whatever, and I don't go, and I miss it, and now that I have set it as a goal to say, for most of the weeks, or more weeks than not, I want to go twice a week, and then I have it on my list. I know that getting there and putting a swim in is going to make me feel good. So that feels exciting to me. Okay, so the second thought that I have on New Year's resolution is that we tend to take these kind of things on because they're probably often things that you want to change in terms of habits, patterns, like you want to quit something, you want to do less of something, you want to do more of things that are good for you, like exercises, right? And if you're the kind of person who wants to set an ambitious goals, and you're going to rise to the occasion, and you have enough personal accountability and just really get it done, and then I think that's amazing. You don't need me to tell you anything. But I'm not like that. Lofty goals feel heavy to me and like a burden, like I said before. And what I'm learning in my life is you have to be careful what becomes your normal, right? And if I am in the habit of not being able to honor my commitments, not being able to hold myself accountable, right? It just deflates my motivation to keep at the goal. I build on successes and the confidence and sense of accomplishment that comes from that. And what works better for me is to start slowly with easy goals, and then build momentum starting from that. So what I would call this principle, make it easy to win, in that if it becomes your normal to win, then you will want to do more of those things. And to do that, like I said earlier, instead of saying I want to go swimming twice a week for, every week of this year, I said 40 weeks, right? Which leaves a lot of the weeks, which leaves a lot of room for failure. Which sets the bar low, that even if I miss a week here, or if I miss a week there, if I miss a number of weeks, it's still within my reach. And this helps energize me in that I am setting myself a truly achievable goal. And in fact, I have been able to build a culture of fitness and exercise in the last few years. It's been a long and slow journey. I've never been an athletic person in my life until the last, 10-ish years or so. And I never thought that I had it in me, but I've been able to build it up. But if I was embarking on something new, I might say something like, just put your workout clothes on and 3 times a week. That's it. Or just show up for 5 minutes and call it an exercise. That's it, right? Every other day, once a week, right? Maybe once a month might be too far apart to really call it a routine, but it depends on what it is that you're trying to obviously go after. Just make it so easy in the beginning to win that you look at your goal and go, there's no problem, right? I feel absolutely no problem. It's gonna be so easy. And then, but then you just do it, and especially if it's something that you've had trouble with before, don't raise the bar right away. Just really just stick to the bare minimum, the easiest thing possible. But do it, meet your goals, meet your pace, so that you show up and you do it for 5 minutes, and you're like, once I get started, I can keep going. And then after a while you have that desire and motivation built up, and then you're like, I can't help but wanting to do more, and then and only then raise the bar to something a little bit higher. And I don't know about you, but that approach has worked better for me than sort of raising the bar high, and then even if you don't make it, obviously that's still a worthwhile thing, and that's still okay, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's the other way to look at it. It just that is not as motivating to me as being able to say something like, this was an easy thing, but I did it, right? And then just having the history of being able to say, yes, I did it, is like an accountability and confidence boost in my case. So when it comes to New Year's resolutions, there are 2 approaches in terms of whether to make it a social thing or personal thing. And there's either approach may work for you, but I think it's helpful to figure out which side of the coin that you might fall in. So one approach that's common is to share your goals with somebody or people around you, and have them help you keep accountable, right? And I think that's a great approach, and I think it can work for some people. I also feel that for others though, however, actually it's more effective if you keep your goals to yourself and don't tell anybody, because, well, for a few reasons. Well, when I shared one of my goals with you, mostly because I feel super confident about it. I've already I have a sort of a general exercise frequency kind of thing that I set myself. I said I will exercise 4 times a week for 40 weeks out of the year, and 2 of those will be swimming, right? And in 2022 I already did more than that, so I know that it's a routine that I can stick to, and the bar I set for 2023 is even lower than that, so I feel very confident and comfortable sharing that. But when I tell I don't know, my goals to other people, actually for me it increases the pressure in a not great way, in that obviously I would like to be a man of my word and be able to stick to what I told people, but then that becomes an additional weight and responsibility uh, to me, which is not entirely motivating, because it kind of gets wrapped around with the idea of letting other people down and setting expectations that you can't hold, and things like that. I also read in other places, or other people had experience saying that, you know, by saying your goals before you accomplish them, you're kind of partially experiencing what it's like to achieve that already, and that may or may not sort of deflate your motivation to actually achieve it. That part, I'm not sure whether that's true for me or not, but in either case, I pick my goals and I go after them purely because they have meaning to me, and it's me and me, mine, and me only kind of thing. So when I share it with other people, it just gets a little a different dimension, and it doesn't work for me as well. If it's somebody I trust really well, and I'm not worried about meeting their expectation or letting them down, or accountability and things like that, maybe I will do that. But when I think about just having a personal secret motivation and goals, and when I envision being able to come out on the other side after I accomplish them and be able to tell people, then to me that's a lot more exciting than telling people ahead of time and going, ooh, I have another thing that I kind of promised to other people, or I owe to other people. And so that is my approach. And there are other non-fitness type goals that I've set for myself that I'm not going to share with you at this time. Hopefully, maybe later. But that is my approach, and I'm happy with where I am with that. So, which side do you fall on? Is it work for you, better for you if you tell other people and ask them to hold you accountable, or is it more of a inner, a personal thing? It's almost like an extrovert times versus introvert kind of paradigm, I think. Well, finally, if you take nothing else away from this, this is the thing that I want you to take away. Do your goals energize you? Does it help you get out of bed in the morning? Or does it make you go, oof, I have to get up and go after the goals I set for myself? And man, I, I'm just as guilty as anybody in terms of setting my goals, New Year's resolutions, thinking those are things I should pursue for myself. And the underlying motivation there is that I should achieve these things, produce these outcomes, or engage in these activities so that I can feel good about myself. Right? And if that is my motivation, wait a minute. Let's talk about that, right? Or that's one other video, but that's something to really consider. And I've done a lot of work in the last few years, and I feel like I may have evolved or turned some corners, so to the point where I set myself goals for 2023, and I'm just really excited about them for whatever reasons. Just thinking about them gets me like, oh wow, yes, I can't wait for 2023 because I get to go after these goals. And I think it counts, these kind of momentum or energy you feel in yourself, and not having been aware of that before, and now experiencing that firsthand, I'm like, wow, I was really doing it wrong. In that, man, just set yourself goals, visions, intentions. That is exciting. That brings you something to look forward to. something that energizes you. And if they're not doing that, then, you know, let's take a hard look and see, do you really need those burdens and weight on your shoulders? You know, another voice that's whispering in your head going, oh, you really should be doing this, right? I mean, we have enough of those things in our head, and I don't know that we need to add any more. So yeah, if nothing else, I hope that you're setting, whether it's for New Year's or not, whatever goals, visions, intentions you cast for your life, I hope they excite you, or make up things, you know, or sit with it until you come across something that makes you go, whoa, yeah, I want to do this, right? And then when you enjoy going after them, you enjoy achieving them, and it's just cycle in the positive direction. Alrighty, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can definitely like and subscribe and help me out grow my channel. I would really appreciate that, and I would appreciate also your thoughts, comments, and if you find that, you know, there might be other people in your life who may benefit from what I shared, please share with them. Alright, thanks again. I'll catch you in the next show. Thanks.